Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here today. I'm so excited to share this with you. So many people have said to me, I love what you're doing and everything you're teaching with AI, but I just don't even, first of all, have a clue how I would use it, what it matters to me. And if I did want to use it, how in the world would I get started? And they're saying some things to me like they're kind of afraid of it and they don't know what it's going to do or how they would even use it in their lives. So, we are doing today on the Knoxville Business Growth Collaborative a gentle introduction to AI for beginners. So, if you're a beginner or you're not really sure just how you're going to use it, for example, some people, they have it already at work. They have it on their computer. It's on our websites that we use, the ones that are not even dedicated AI websites. It's getting into even Microsoft products, and everywhere you go now there's an AI option. And you're thinking, what am I going to do with this? What is it going to do if I click on it? How is this going to help me, or is this really going to hurt me? So if any of those are questions that you've been asking, then just come along with me. I've got, like I said, a gentle introduction. By the end of this presentation, you're going to understand what AI is and what it isn't, how it works, why people like it, and some ways you can use it in your own life, in your business, at work, at home, to make your life easier, better, do some things faster. And you can choose not to use it as well. You don't have to use AI if you don't want to. However, it is here to stay. So let's dive in and see what we have in store for you today. This is a gentle introduction to artificial intelligence for beginners. Now, if we were in a room with all of us together, like we're all online together, but if we were in a room, I would say raise your hand if you have questions about it or you've thought about it. First of all, raise your hand or put it in the chat if you have even started to dabble a little bit with AI. If you feel like, okay, I got an account with ChatGPT, and even though I don't know for sure what I'm doing, I have an account and I play around a little bit with maybe on other sites making some pictures or brainstorming some ideas, let's say for a PTA event. Give me a checklist of all the things I might need to do to get this done on time, and here's my deadline, and here's some more information about it. So it doesn't always have to be business. It doesn't always have to be a graphic creation kind of thing. It can be really helpful in your life. It supports you as a beginner, even. It's just there for you. It's a tool. And the analogy I like to use is, the radio really kind of replaced the tribal storyteller, or the cowboy is sitting around telling stories in the campfire. Then people were in homes, and then they got the radio, and then they could hear stories and news without being in person in the same room with the person that was telling them what was going on. Then television took over where the radio had been so useful. Now we do still have radio, and I'm glad for it because we can't take a television everywhere with us. And then along came the internet. And that has really been a huge shift in the way we all globally live our lives when the internet became part of our lives. Now, the next step has now become AI, artificial intelligence. And it does seem like in most of our lives, that AI came along about a year and a half to 2 years ago and just splashed on the scene, started taking over. But really, you're going to see that that is not really the case. But AI can support you. It can handle the busy work for you, things that you do over and over and over again that can be done automatically. You can set them up to work in the background, but you always stay in charge. You decide what words are said, how often things happen, and if you even decide to use the tool or not. You do not have to use the tool of AI every day or ever. So now, what comes to mind when you hear the term AI? A lot of people say they're curious about it, they're nervous about it, they're excited for the opportunities and for what it represents that they can get done far beyond the skills that they had last week or last month. They can create something amazing, and they're unsure about it. They're watching sometimes the news, the things that people are doing with it. And getting back to what I said about it being a tool and us being afraid of it, we have to remember that it is just a tool. AI is a tool, the internet's a tool, the television is a tool, radio is a tool, just like a hammer and a saw and other kinds of implements are tools. And in the wrong hands, that hammer and that saw can do a lot of damage to a human being. Likewise, the radio, the television in the wrong hands, the internet in the wrong hands can do a tremendous amount of damage to a human being, to someone's life, to someone's career. The same with AI. It's not the tool that is inherently bad or evil. It's the person who is using the tool in a very bad way. So let's keep that in mind while we're talking about AI in this gentle introduction for beginners, okay? Let's focus on not on those people that are doing bad things. Let's focus on the tool itself and how you can feel comfortable using it or deciding not to use it, but being educated in the process. So, you may be surprised to find out that you're already using AI. This is going back to a couple minutes ago when I said it seemed like it appeared to drop out of the sky about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and suddenly it was everywhere. But really, we've been using it for a while. AI is in our lives already. For example, with voice helpers, how long have we had Siri and Alexa and Google, when you can say, hey, Google, or you can ask Siri, where's the best place to get a pizza? Or you can tell Alexa to play a specific song for you. It's been several years, and that is AI. In fact, there are some music stations, Pandora, I think, is one, that based on the music that you play, what you choose to play, it'll recommend more songs that are similar or in that genre, or songs that it predicts that you will like, and that is AI as well. And that has been around for a long time. So navigation, of course, we have our GPS. We have GPS on our phones now, but before that we had devices, separate devices in the car. That was AI as well. And music and video, I did mention the music a second ago with channels like Pandora and iTunes. And then video, of course, on YouTube. They have AI already installed for a very long time to predict what you're going to like and recommend the next video and the next video. Did you ever wonder how that happens? And then, of course, in shopping, recommendations for things that you'll actually like. And one of the kings of this, king or queen of this era, is Amazon. They're very good at, they started it from the first few times I used Amazon, and we know that's been more than a decade, that because I bought this thing, they said, oh, people who bought this thing also bought these things. And that is another form of AI. And then it remembers what I bought and remembers that I did go ahead and select that other thing. So then it'll remember, oh, it's learning my pattern. Oh, she bought this thing and then added this thing. So she must, let's say, be a photographer because I first bought a backdrop, then I bought a stand. So if I'm a photographer, then they're going to recommend lights and other kinds of tools that I might need in my photography business or hobby. And that is another form of AI in shopping. And then autocorrect. We've had autocorrect for a very long time. And it's predicting what word you meant to use for spelling and for grammar. And it used to be you had to sign up for that kind of grammar autocorrect with Grammarly or other websites. You had to sign up for that. Now it's all throughout any writing program. It's going to give you recommendations on what maybe you meant to say or a word that you spelled wrong, and it'll want to fix it. So all of those are AI, and all of those, most people, most adults, and many, almost all children are very comfortable with them, but they've been around for a long time, long before we started to see in the past year and a half or 2 years that suddenly AI is here and it's taking over. So hopefully you'll feel a little better about AI, knowing these things, that you've already been using it. It's already been part of our lives and making our lives better. So let's just get right down to it and define what is AI. So it is artificial intelligence is, let me just do this here. It's a computer that learns from patterns. Like I was saying earlier, it's watching my pattern. If I buy this and then I buy this, and then a week later I buy this thing, it's going to say, oh, I see a pattern here. She likes these things, so she must probably like these things. It listens and responds. And if you ask it a question, it will give you a helpful answer. And it writes and helps. So it'll write drafts for documents for you. If you just say, I want to write a standard operating procedure, this is what kind of business I have. This is the standard operating procedure that I want to write. And I remember I did this myself, and really I didn't know it was going to write the whole thing. I wanted it to tell me the layout, the best layout for it. I knew there was a protocol, shall we say, for standard operating procedures. I had worked at many places and I knew that they were laid out a certain way, and I wanted that advice on how to lay it out. But it just actually wrote the whole thing, and it was amazing. Of course, I had to fine tune it for my own company and responsibilities that fell in or out of the pattern that they had established. But it did it in a nanosecond. That's the other thing that is so helpful. Something that would have taken me weeks to write one standard operating procedure, because I didn't know how, I didn't know who to ask, I didn't know where the right resource was. I could have gone to the library and looked in a book. I could have searched all over the internet. I could have watched 47 videos on YouTube. There were a lot of things I could do, but I didn't know which one was best first step to do. And it would have taken a lot of time. And I likely would have had to pay someone, of course, to do this for me. Whereas when I asked AI for the format for it and told it what I needed, I had a standard operating procedure that was about 85% usable in a nanosecond. Same thing happened when I wanted to do a press release. Again, I didn't think that I wanted it to write the whole press release. I just wanted to know, because I know in press releases, there's specific, you do this first, and then there's the body, and then you put this next, and the very last thing is this, whatever those pieces are. I had seen enough press releases to know those things, but I didn't know what they all were. So I said, okay, this is my event. This is what's going on. And I want to write a press release. Can you tell me how to do it? And it told me how, but then it wrote it also. And there it was. And I just had to tweak a few words here and there, make it mine. And I had a press release. And that day, going back to the standard operating procedure, when after it wrote the first one, I wrote, with the help of AI, that day in 2 hours, I wrote 14 standard operating procedures. And I just can't imagine how long it would take me to do that if I didn't have that kind of help. So it helps you with drafts and ideas. It can summarize things on demand. And then you choose what fits. You use only what really feels right for you. And that's another beauty of using the AI. So think of it like a calm, patient assistant who never gets tired. They never get tired. They never run out of ideas. They don't ask for a raise. They don't take a sick day. So you ask a question, you describe the situation that you need help with, and then AI makes suggestions, and then you decide what pieces you're going to use, and you can tell the platform, let's say ChatGPT, if you're on there, and it gives you an answer, and it's just way off base, not even close to what you wanted. In your next prompt, you can say, that's not even close to what I wanted. You are way off base. Let me explain this. So then it'll do it again, and it doesn't get its feelings hurt. So you can really own the stage, own the room, get what you need, and tell it like it is to the AI in the prompt and say, no, you're off base. That's just completely wrong. So I kind of like that too. It's refreshing. So it's not going to get its feelings hurt. So the power is always yours. AI offers options and you make the choices. So here's why it matters for beginners. Oops. It saves time. It reduces busy work. It sparks creativity. Because here's another thing it'll do. Now, at first it wasn't doing that about a year ago, but now after it answers your question, then it says, would you like me to take this and do the next thing with it? Turn it into a table that includes this information plus more pertinent information. And all you got to do is say, yes. And it's something you may not have thought of to ask it to do. That's when I really love that it helps spark my creativity when it says, would you like me to do this next? And some of them I'm very fond of Perplexity. It's very good for research. And I use Perplexity almost exclusively, except for times when ChatGPT or Claude is a better tool. And they all do have their own specialty. But one thing I like about all of them is at the end, after they answer what you asked for, they'll list 4 or 5 questions that might be on your mind that you might want to ask next. And I absolutely love that because it will go in a direction that I didn't know to go in to get that next step. And then it might say, well, I asked it to map out some locations along I-75 between this city and that city, wanted to be able to stop and see these specific kinds of places. And it mapped them out. And then it said, would you like for me to check their store hours and get their contact information, find out what specials they're having that day when you're traveling? I said, yes, absolutely. That is what I wanted, but I didn't ask it. I hadn't thought to articulate that and verbalize that in my prompt. And so it helps with creativity that way as well. Would you like me to do these things? And then you have more energy for your clients, for your family. Once this task that was going to weigh on your mind become a lot of mental clutter and cause you worry and strife, once that is even started and you have a path forward, then you have more energy to focus on the things that you love and really want to do, because that thing that was hanging over your head is, there's a solution in place. You've already started working on it, and AI was able to help you. All right. So here's some simple ways that AI can help you. It can write emails. So for example, you want to write you're very upset. Something happened. You feel like you were taken advantage of. You feel like the person who did this didn't consider your feelings. They completely didn't listen to your instructions or do what you asked. And you want and need to write an email about it and address the issue. However, a lot of the things that you're going to sit down and say are not going to help the situation. The way you feel like you want to say them, you could be abrupt and you could be rude and you could be complaining and you could be whiny and you could be saying things in a way that is not going to project confidence in a position that you're in the right. So it can help you write an email. You can say, this is what happened. And if it's a company, you can even give their website and say, help me write an email about this because I want it resolved right now. Or if you want to write a very sweet, kind message of, let's say someone had a death in their family and you're just really not sure what to say, and you don't like all the platitudes of what people typically say, they seem lame or weak to you, they're just not going to fit. So you can tell the system, the platform, this is who the person is. This is who passed away. This is why it's so important to me. Give me 5 greetings of sympathy that I can look at. And that's another thing I love to do with AI. Beginners, listen up. Ask it for 5 or 10 of something. Then you can go through and see if any of them really strikes your heart or really seems to solve the situation. You don't have to just ask for one solution, right? And in a nanosecond, you have them. And then, of course, you don't have to use them, but you can take a piece of this one and a piece of that one and the thought behind this one, and you can write your own then. And that's how it sparks your creativity, because instead of just having nothing in your head, you have these ideas, then you can massage it into your own message. And so it can draft social media posts. You can share your offers and when you're having a sale or when you have a new product, you can share that with ease. And AI can draft those in just a few seconds. You can have 10 or 20 social media posts about, let's say you have an event coming up and you tell it, this is my event, this is the audience, this is what they're suffering with, this is their pain that they're having and why my solution is going to help them. So you give it all that, and it'll write a whole bunch of social media posts that will attract those people into your event. So it can suggest new ideas. Sometimes you just get stuck in that box and you can't think outside of it. And you really just want inspiration. You want new ideas. You maybe go for a walk, put your feet in the grass, take a shower, do whatever you can do to put yourself in a new mindset. But you can also use an AI platform and see what kind of new ideas they come up with for fresh inspiration when you're stuck. And it can summarize notes. You can take an entire meeting minutes, transcription, and say, summarize this for me. Especially if someone else sends you something and you don't have the time or inclination really to read all of it line by line, you can have the AI summarize it. So that's in your own notes. Let's say you were somewhere, you went to a meeting and you took notes and it just seems so messy. You can put it in there and say, organize this for me for clarity. And so it can brainstorm new directions as well. If you say, I know I need a new product, I know I want to offer this kind of thing in this vein or go in this direction, and your brain is just all done thinking, right? You've got friends, you can bounce ideas off them, colleagues, but you can also use AI as a starting point. So then you can take what that gives you and magnify it into something amazing that you're going to love to offer your clients. All right, so let's look at some myths about AI. So, one of the most prominent myths is that AI replaces people. Okay, we're going to address these in a second. We're going to look at 3 myths together. Another myth is that it's just too hard to use. I just don't know where to start. I don't know how to use it. It's just too hard to use. And it's only for tech people. So that you might be going, yeah, sure, Rita, you can talk about this. You can say it's easy because you have a techie brain and you work in tech every day. But AI is not just for tech people. It's for everyone. That's like saying the internet is only for tech people, or that the television is only for technically inclined, broadcast tech people. AI is not only for tech people. It is available and useful for everyone. So let's look at the truth here. Instead of AI replaces people, AI actually saves time and focuses on strategy. And so you can, again, come out with a new plan for a new direction. You can fine tune whatever you've been doing, find the bottlenecks in your process, and it does not replace you. It does not replace a human being. It actually amplifies you and everything that human beings can do. It lets our light shine even brighter. So, myth is it's too hard to use. And the truth is, you just start small with one step, and we're going to do a little exercise here in a minute so you can get started on your own. And the myth is it's only for tech people, and the truth is anyone with curiosity can try it. And the beauty about this is you can try it, you start small. We're going to start small here in a minute, and you don't have to use it. You can experience it for yourself and walk away for a day or a week or a month or a year. You do not have to use it. And isn't that beautiful if you don't want to? All right, so there's all of our myths and the truth about AI. So hopefully that's going to help you settle a little bit into the idea of possibly giving it a little whirl, a little try, or a little bit of curiosity and a little less fear, I hope. All right. So you want to keep gentle boundaries. When you're using AI, you need to protect your privacy and others' privacy, okay? When you're using the public AI platforms, like I've mentioned, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Grok is one, and Perplexity. There are many. Google now has their own, Microsoft has their own. When you're using a public AI platform, do not put personal information on there. Don't use real names if you can help it. You don't need to get the answer. You're doing research or you're brainstorming. Don't put actual people at an actual real location. And I say that because it first remembers everything that you give it, and it's pulling information from the entire internet. So just only put on there what it needs to understand. So for example, you use general language. If let's say you're a therapist and you're asking it to work with you on something specific, you can say a client who struggles with stress. You don't say the person's name. Okay, so that's an example of that. And you always stay in charge. Again, this is a tool. Your ethics lead everything that you do, everything that the AI does. It doesn't do something that you haven't been in charge of. So You are always, you say when, you say where, you decide what's going to happen. And again, you don't have to use it at all if you don't want to. I just really want you to feel more comfortable, at least giving it a try, seeing what you might be able to do with it. It AI can be helpful. It can bring peace to your life, and it has practical uses. It's helpful for daily tasks that drain your time, your energy, your focus away from the things that you love or the things that you really need to be doing. It's peaceful because it cuts out some of that mental clutter I was talking about at the beginning of the training. The mental clutter where you're trying to remember everything, or you know you need to go look something up and you wonder about this. And if you put it through the AI system, then you don't have to keep it up here. You've got the answer and you have more clarity. And it's practical, it's real support for your business or your life, however you want to use it. All right. So now we're going to do an example. We're going to jump right into a workshop now. And you can do this on your own. If you're watching the replay, you can pause this presentation and you can go through this yourself. And we're going to do this together right now. If you're watching live, just go ahead and do this. So let's pretend that we're hosting an event. And you go into ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok, whichever one you want to use. They each all have a website, and they all have, I believe they all have a free version. If the one that you chose doesn't have a free version, then just go choose a different one. And there will be a little window where you type your prompt. And the prompt is where you're telling the AI what you want it to give you back. For example, here is a sample prompt. Write a warm social post inviting clients to a spring wellness workshop with essential oils and guided energy work. So this event is going to be a workshop. It's in the spring, and it's going to include a lot of wellness training, and it's going to include essential oils and guided energy work. So you put a sentence like that into the AI prompt, and then what it returns here is a warm, ready to edit draft in just a few seconds. And the key here is ready to edit. So you don't ever want to take something that AI gave you and use it in the public, because AI does not talk like you. It is not you. It does not form sentences like you and use both the same words that you would use. So you always want to edit it, but it does give you a great place to start. So that's why I love, always consider everything that you get out of AI is edit ready. Okay, so you're going to edit it, you're going to change it up, make it yours, massage it, tweak it, turn it into your own voice. Use AI to get the idea and get the place to start from, the draft. And then what you do next is, of course, you read it over, change the words that don't sound like you, and make it yours. So how would you make it sound more like you? That is the question that you want to ask yourself when you get a result back from an AI website. So again, you can pause this replay right now. The people at home, you can be using AI right now if you're on live, and see what you get. Put it in the chat, what you put into the AI, and then what kind of result you got, and we'll talk about it. All right, so here's an example of how you can use AI to make your own words better. For example, I'm a logical person. I just cut to the chase, kind of just the facts, ma'am. And I'm very direct. when I give instructions or I have facts to deliver, right? I am not as warm and fuzzy as some other people are. And so I would write something like this: reminder, workshop this Saturday, period. Come if you can, period. That's it. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that's all the information all lined up straight. And there you go. Here it is. But it is plain and it feels rushed and it definitely doesn't have any warmth to it. So if I put that into my AI and I said, could you make this warmer, softer, more friendly, then it might come out with something on the right side like, join us this Saturday for a serene morning of healing, essential oils, guided energy work, and quiet restoration. We would love to have you. Now, doesn't that feel warmer, clearer? And yet it's still my words. My words are on the left. We just put them in a nicer package by asking AI to help us kind of soften the edges around it. So it improves my first draft. And I still choose every word that goes out because I might change serene into relaxing. I might say, oh, I wouldn't say serene. I wouldn't say it that way. I would turn this sentence around, or I would change that word. You know what I mean? So you can change everything that AI gives you. All right. So it also has creative partner ideas. You can use AI as an entire team, a board of directors, or your creative team, or your marketing team. Pretend like there's a room full of 9 people and each one has a role. And you're going to use AI to get the best out of each one of those people. For example, for this same energy workshop, we need some guided meditations. So I'll just ask it some ideas and scripts and themes for the guided meditations I might want to do, some blog ideas to write about what we're doing. And hopefully people will read that blog and realize that is a place I want to be at that retreat. And some affirmations if I want to give my audience daily affirmations that they can say after they leave the retreat. I can ask AI to come up with some. Then I can say, okay, this fits what I'm doing. This fits my theme and my intention for this. So I picked this, I picked part of that one and part of that one. So you can ask it for things like affirmations, things to give your clients to use. You can even brainstorm workshop names, the name for your workshop. If you tell it who the audience is, what their pain is, what your solution is, anything else important, it can pop out 20 different names for the workshop and see if you like any of them. And newsletter topics. Oh my goodness, if you write a newsletter, then I know you're always thinking, okay, what am I going to put in the newsletter next time? What's this newsletter going to be about? Which articles are people going to like? You can at least get some topics from your AI partner and give you the idea. Then you can say, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to use that one. Then you're off to the races, and then your creative juices are flowing and you can write the newsletter after you use a tool to help you get some topic ideas. So again, getting back to organization magic that you can use AI for. You can turn those messy notes into summaries. You can just paste your meeting notes right into your AI platform and it'll organize them. It'll give you action items and who's supposed to do it and what the action item is and a deadline if there was one assigned. You can find patterns in your own ideas. And I've been using mine long enough that it remembers that I wanted to do this other thing, or that I did do that thing, or that I typically want a press release every time I put on this event, the Business Growth Collaborative, and it'll say, do you want me to write the press release now? So it remembers my pattern and it spots things that you might have missed, just like that example I gave you. So it can create checklists. And oh my goodness, I love a good checklist. A lot of people do. People feel safe when they have a checklist. They feel organized. They feel like they're going somewhere, moving forward, getting things done. Checklists are amazing, and all your AI partners are really good at making them. And you can save time after meetings or client sessions. You can put the notes in, and again, not their name or anything pertinent that's going to give away who the person is, but the notes. And then you can keep better notes on your sessions and on your meetings, your business meetings. It's less admin, more presence with more clients at a higher level. So here now, let's make your own first prompt. Think of one small task on your to-do list right now that you would like help with. And here's a few little ideas. There's a client reminder. So if you want to do a client reminder email or text, you can put in the quotations right here is what you would put in your AI prompt. Write a short, warm reminder email for tomorrow's session. And then you might need to give it more information about what the session's about if your AI doesn't know you already, if you haven't been using it for a while. So workshop ideas. Suggest 3 workshop ideas for spring wellness clients. And it'll give you tons of ideas. You're just asking for 3 here, but you can ask for more. You can give it more information than that. Or you can start off very generic and just see what you get, because I find that I like that. Give it the least amount of information and then just see what you get back, because you can get ideas from where it goes that you hadn't gone before in your own mind. All right, and then summarize your notes, of course. Here are my notes. Can you summarize the key themes? Again, you can ask it for action items. You can ask it for deadlines. You can ask it even for suggested next steps, depending on what the meeting was about. All right, your next small step. Now, you've seen this all about how this gentle introduction to AI. If you're ready to put your toe in the water, you can do this yourself. And comment below. Let me know how it went. Let me know where you were when you started this workshop and where you are now, if you're ready to at least give it a try. Okay? So give me a comment, and I'll love to comment back to you. So you're going to choose one small task this week. And then you write 1 sentence as your prompt. And then when you put that in your AI platform, just notice how much time it saves you. Think about how much time it would have taken you to mull over it, come up with different ideas, possible solutions, weigh that out, talk to your mentor maybe, talk to your colleagues, check with an expert. Hours, days, weeks, how long would that have taken you? And then notice how much time you saved by just checking in with an AI to see something maybe you hadn't thought of. And then you keep what feels right and you just let go of the rest. You do not have to use it. You don't have to use the results that you get back from AI. All right, so technology can support your work product, your client, the business that you're running can support you in support of your clients, but you bring the heart and the wisdom. AI is your helper. You lead the work, and your unique touch is irreplaceable and always will be. All right, so some questions now and reflection. So what feels exciting about this for you? Maybe jot some notes, put it in the comments. If anything that I said today makes you feel excited to try a thing or two with AI, let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you about it, and we'll comment back and forth. What feels confusing? You tell me what still feels confusing, and I will do a training on it. Every month in 2026, every month, the Business Growth Collaborative is about AI. And I let you all guide the subject, what we're going to talk about next, because you tell me, well, I'm still confused about this. Okay? What worries you? Same thing. If you're worried about something, tell me what it is. I'll find a way. I'll do a training on it, and we're going to get past that or get into it with AI, and we're going to figure out a way through it together. And what would you like to try? What is it that, hopefully you got a couple ideas while I was talking about things that you might say, oh gosh, I bet maybe it could help me with this particular thing that I've been struggling with. I hope so. Just let me know, please. Put a comment in and tell me what it is that you want to try with AI. All right, so some common questions I can answer right now already before you even ask them. So, is AI expensive? Many of the tools are free. However, I have found you do get a lot better results on the paid version. And the paid versions can start very economically, $8 a month, $20 a month. ChatGPT's paid version is $20 a month. It's the best $20 you'll ever spend in your business. It really, and it makes a night and day difference on the free version versus the paid version. So if you're using ChatGPT, invest in the $20 a month. All right, so is it hard to learn? If you can write a text message, you can use AI. And I'm pretty sure we can all write a text message. You can, like I said, you can talk to the AI just exactly like it's a person sitting there with you. You can say, I don't understand what you're talking about. This isn't what I wanted. That's not what I asked you for. Right? And then have a conversation with it. And it'll come back and say, I'm so sorry. Give me more details. And one thing I love to do with any AI platform is I say, this is what I'm doing. These are the facts. What else do you need to know before you can do this thing, write this thing for me, or advise me on this thing? And it'll say, oh, I need to know this and this and this and this. And then you can answer those things and you'll get a much better result. If you ask it, what do you need to know from me before you can help me? Another question, will it sound like me? That's a good question. It may come out sounding not like you. It will sound like the way it was trained to sound. However, that's perfectly fine because your next step is not to use it the way it came out. It's to edit and shape it. Use your voice and mold it into something you actually would say. It gives you ideas. It gives you a start. Okay? Is it safe? Using general language, not specifics, nobody's name. Don't put actual addresses and locations. You protect your client and yourself by using generalities. You still get what you need out of the AI without disclosing too much. And where do I start? One sentence, one small task right now. Go ahead and try it right now. Thank you so much for being here, for watching the replay, for being here live today with the Knoxville Business Growth Collaborative. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your curiosity. And thank you for serving others. The world is better because of people like you. So go gently and keep going.